Guess who's back? Back on the block with the mows. Face my black mittens and hoe. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Ashley Alexander Show. I've missed you guys. It's been a minute, I know. I apologize. Listen, the Grammys were on last night.
Tyler's so good every time! So good! So good!
I am calmer today.
Post is doing war pants! Yes! I called it!
So, first, I had a great time last night. Did you have a great time last night?
The tributes were right this year! Bilal was outside!
I had a great time last night.
Lauren did the cover she was supposed to! I'm having a great night! Oh, it's been a bad year. I'm having a great night!
And we're going to talk about it because that was an interesting Grammys. Not in the ways that you probably think, but I am a Grammy person that's into the Grammys in all the categories. I'm not here for just what's televised. Now, most of my favorite categories are in the premiere ceremony that's at like 3 o'clock during the day. So I'm trying earlier in the day to catch everything, because a red carpet and a ticker is not where my favorite artists live. They are winning the awards before the televised one comes out. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of this stuff. We're going to talk about a lot of the stuff that you all are bringing up, and a lot of conversations people have kind of been having with me over the past, I guess, day since the Grammys. This is the Ashley Alexander Show. I'm very excited to have you here. The show is turned over time into something that's interviews and album reviews and experiences of places I've been or shows I've been a part of. If you haven't been here before and you haven't met me before, I'm Ashley Alexander. I tour in a capacity as like a tour manager, production coordinator, a couple of different spaces like that. I've been a singer-songwriter for 20-something years as well. And I am very dedicated and opinionated when it comes to this topic.
Performance! Atmosphere! Yes! Yes! Yes!
And so a lot of people will hit me up and ask me what I feel about the nominations when they come out. Same thing about the night of the show. And I just want to make it clear. I don't call everybody during the commercial breaks. There is a select set of dear people that I pester during the commercial breaks, because usually I'm alone to watch the Grammys, because I should be left alone, because I am so excited and I am very animated and all over the place, as you can see. And so if I call or text you when it's Grammy season, you gotta know I really rock with you, because this night is of deep dedication and focus for me. This year, I was excited, quite honestly, because some of the big heavy hitters in the obvious categories were kind of out of the way. And I feel like this year there was a lot more diversity in international music getting a real space in the conversation, in album of the year, in song of the year, stuff like that. And of course, the resurgence of Lady Gaga never fails, never loses. And first off, Grammys, first day of Black History Month, always a great time, always happy about it. It always brings me joy. Last night was a pretty melanated Grammys. Okay, if you look at the floor, it was beautiful. It's just beautiful and black. And the R&B winners earlier in the day set completely the tone for what came later. And I am so excited that this year I feel like the right songs, the right artists, the right situations of albums, the right stuff got nominated, and some things correctly won. Some things I think my own personal enjoyment of, I feel like, okay, you can't win them all, and I'm okay with that. But let's run this down really quick, because I feel like the categories were a little more aligned this year. And I also keep in perspective that a lot of times when people want to have a conversation about the Grammys or any award show, whether it's the Oscars or this or whatever, most people won't take the time to actually listen to some other music or other genres. Not saying that people are narrow-minded, but I am saying that people have their desired genres that they listen to and frequent. So those are the categories that you will pay way more attention to. But I also think that in a lot of that, there is a loss of getting to know all these other musicians in these other categories. And sometimes I think that's such a shame, because there's a lot of really good music out here. And a lot of times it doesn't come to light to people as to how did this band win this until they win something at like record of the year or album of the year. And to some viewers, it's kind of confusing, like how the hell did they get that? But they might have had one of the strongest actual albums of the year, and you know, the participants who can vote agreed. Obviously, there is the swaying part of it all. I mean, there's 15,000 people or however many more that have access to voting. So yes, sure, favoritism plays in a whole bunch. I can understand that. But it also does play into a person's marketing situation and how they rolled that out, and honestly, how they shopped it to their peers within the campaign of that album cycle. It does play a little bit. Demon Hunters is something I think I figured the K-pop conversation is really turning into something with this film. Golden Globes kind of proved it. That it's sort of like someone had said to me that they felt away in regards to like Golden, which is from K-pop Demon Hunters, not winning Song of the Year or something of that nature, but it did win at the Golden Globe in a bunch of different aspects too. And so I keep that in perspective, that it's still up for best song and it might have a place. But I feel like the Grammys has always tried, let's say tried, to keep it to the concept of the audio experience, the audible experience of this. And I enjoy that. I really enjoy that. I think the coloring of last night's set design was great. I think it was a good time. It looked like a good time. It didn't feel like, oh, it was 3-4 hours of just like sitting here. The best new artist situation in the performances this year was clever because they took the time to figure out how to make all of them have space to perform actually. All over the building, backstage, on the floor, all the other spaces of it. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good transition. I thought it was fluid how they did it. I feel like some people stood out more than others. And, you know, I had some personal favorites. I feel like Leon Thomas did exactly what he was supposed to do. Exactly what he was supposed to do. And Olivia Dean had a very bright, refreshing kind of show, just because I just think it's lighter in comparison to a lot of what's going on. And let's not forget, it is wild outside. There is real shit going on outside. So this conversation isn't lost in the space of this being considered a distraction or not, okay? But I do think that last night's Best New Artist situation brought a nice little intro to a lot of people to just sort of get to know or just kind of get eyes on something else. I really enjoyed the Maria's performance. And I liked how Addison Rae used the backstage area and how they really set it all up. But Cat's Eye knocked that out the park. They did a really good job. And I feel like they presented themselves tremendously well. Lola Young is it for me. Lola Young and Leon Thomas were the two. Alex Warren and Somber, I love their performances and I love how it went down. I feel like I saw a clip today, maybe something was up with maybe Alex Warren's in-ears. Something none of us would have known. I feel like that's what I saw today. But anyway, I was really excited for Lola Young's performance. I was very impressed by it and she really showed out. But Leon Thomas, I think, was such a fun time because that song Mutt is just so popular and that room wanted to hear it and you could tell. When it gets to stuff, when it gets to the host and figuring out what to do with the crowd, I feel like the first half of the show took a lot of time for no reason. I think Trevor Noah was a fun time, but it took a lot of time. Kind of doing the, oh, this is so-and-so, look who this is. I think that really kind of took a lot of time. And it was sort of evident that it needed to, you know. But I'm really excited. I love Trevor Noah's outfit. I got a homegirl that kind of disagrees with me on the color of the blazer, but I enjoyed it. I feel that it was a lot more entertaining this year because a lot of people came that you might not have thought. Like just really big celebrities just kind of hanging out kind of thing. Like, you know, it's not until today that I realized and found out that Queen Latifah was there because her wife was one of the producers of the show, which is incredible. You know, Jamie Foxx is always a good time, and it's always great to see him in great health. So I feel like there was a lot of energy on the floor that could be navigated. But what matters are these performances. And I was not all the way here for Bruno's. Bruno and Rose, they got to do it. I understand it, but I just wasn't on the Bruno train this time all the way. Not all the way. This wasn't. No. I needed it. I don't know what I needed, but that wasn't for me personally. I think the tour is going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to sell out quick if it hasn't already, and I would imagine that it is. But I am glad he was kind of at the top of the show, and we kind of got on through. I say it because I really enjoyed the performance with Lady Gaga a year and some change ago. So I feel like I really didn't come alive until somewhere around Tyler's performance, Lady Gaga's performance, something around that space. And I lost my mind over Tyler's performance. And I'm always going to tell you that I enjoy every which way that Tyler figures out how he's going to do his live performance, whether that's the tour, whether that's award show. But I love the actual thought that's put into the award show piece, because your first Grammy performance is those ones that really dictate whether this win is worth it or not and what you are going to bring to this conversation. I always kind of come back to Ricky Martin and The Cup of Life on that piece. But Tyler, since the first two performances that he's done, and I think Igor was one of the best things he showed that crowd. He's just a lot of fun. He knows how to use the set, and he knows how to build the set to have movement. So somewhere between the car and the explosions, and Regina King, which I love seeing Regina King everywhere, and I love that she was in it this way. Something in it, in her conversation, felt like something endearing she maybe wanted to say to someone else that might not be here, right? But I'm glad that she was a part of this conversation, and I'm glad that you got to see her, because it was a really kind of cool transition between changing of the clothes from the Chromacopia stuff into the dance album and all the rest. And I've made it very clear that dance album gave me a lot of life last year. It really did. I had a great time with Sugar on My Tongue. Darling Eye's my favorite. Ring Ring is really probably my favorite. And I've said this before. I feel like Ring Ring has this air of like Alexandra O'Neal's Saturday Love, but that's not where I'm at right now. I just love performance and I love atmosphere, and Tyler gives it. And I'm here for that. He was not playing that night. And to have his favorite artist that he enjoys there and nominated, I'm talking about Clips, I'm talking about Pharrell, and he's on the album, and all those things in between, I feel like the performance was a lot of fun, because whether he won or not, he was up for Album of the Year this year. And if you're one of those kids that dream of having a Grammy or any of that stuff, these pillars of action and these incredible things, is he's won now a good amount of Grammys. There's a genuine passion that you can bring to it, and I think that that's what he did. And I love continuity, and your boy stayed. Anybody that can stay in scene to the commercial break is my kind of person. And I was in here hollering because I love Pussy Poppin' Tyler. Love him. I love all of this version of shaking that ass the way he is, okay? I am here for it. It is so fun. If you haven't watched Flog Gnaw from last year and watched his performance, please do. Please do. Knees to elbows. Knees to elbows. And I love it. So for me, Tyler set off last night what was to come and the actual energy I had about the performances. And though I should be saying more about the actual performances of other things, because just to me, Gaga and Abracadabra was really, really nice because it was such a tight shot and it was simple, but you could tell in this way that it was like she was placed in this certain corner to do this thing because there's other stage stuff getting built, moved, whatever. So the tightness of it is usually not what you see with her. It's very dancers, big design and all this other stuff. And she sounded great. She looked great. The song killed last year. And it's nice to see her having fun again, or having fun with it, in the sake of coming back to pop in a proper kind of pop way. And Abracadabra was really that this year. The tributes for the In Memoriam this year is why we're here. There's something really poignant about how some of these award shows, or these creators for them, do or do not do these fucking things right. And, you know, it's one thing to do the slideshow of all the people that we've lost this year that's in the industry at all different departments and different spaces of it. But when it comes to the performance stuff, almost always it's shit. Almost always. And the tributes they do for the living, Mariah did not. Mariah did not. Look at me. Mariah did not deserve half of what the hell that was. We're going to get to them pre-show stuff later. I'm not even going to get to that. We're going to go back to the actual show real quick. And I say that to say that losing Ozzy Osbourne, losing D'Angelo, losing Roberta Flack are three incredibly specific sort of soft spots to people in different ways, depending who you're a fan of, depending whatever. But in truth, there are three that have an actual impact in the changing of music, the course of it, or its impact, or its true influence on you. I really believe that. No one waits 14, 15 years for one D'Angelo album because he sucked. That's not even how that worked. I feel like Ozzy's was rough. And Ozzy's was rough because if you got a chance to watch back to the beginning, and I say this to a lot of people, last year was a lot going on all at once. There's real a lot going on outside right now. But in the bigger picture of it all, last year had just swayed a bunch of different ways, I think, socially. And when it was sort of playing into rumors that Ozzy wasn't doing too well, there was this big concert they did called Back to the Beginning in Birmingham, UK, which is where Ozzy and Black Sabbath are from. And they did it the weekend of Glastonbury last year, which last year's Glastonbury was also a wild to do because Oasis got back together. The only weekend I really wish that I was in England would have been this weekend. But they did this incredible show in honor of Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. And it was hours of the best rock musicians, the best rock bands, the best performers, all getting together and performing their songs. Now, obviously, Black Sabbath is doing certain ones themselves, War Pigs being one of them. I've had the beautiful luxury in this life of being able to see Sabbath. I've seen Ozzy once, and I've seen Sabbath 3 times. So this is where the young blood comes out and does changes, is at the back to the beginning thing. So I sort of had kept in mind that no matter what tribute stuff was done on this Ozzy thing, Sharon wasn't fucking playing. And that's what I love about it. Sharon wasn't fucking playing. But I wasn't sure what I was going to expect when it came to Post Malone. Not because of it being Post Malone. I thought there was going to be more people. Like, I thought this was going to be a bit more of a medley of something. But Post Malone did so well, I think, and I don't care what anyone says. I go to the clip of me losing my shit because I called it. The second that they said in the news that Post Malone was doing a tribute to Ozzy, I immediately said it's War Pigs. He has to do War Pigs.
Post is doing War Pigs! Yes! I called it! Come on! Yes! I'm having a great night! Oh, good pick! I fucking knew it!
There's no other time of life than to do it than now. There's no other song, I think, vocally that makes sense. And in truth, you know, it ain't that easy of a song to sing. It's not. And if you can sing it, that's one thing, right? I love Jack Black's way of it because he can sing rock stuff and he's a rock singer. But there's a humor to it that doesn't have the same gritty. T-Pain's version is fucking great. But there is a very specific sort of, I don't know if I want to say grittiness or I want to say something, not aggressive. There's something underneath it. There's a real growl to the thing. And most people who vocally can growl like that and can get to it can't sing half of the high shit. So there's a space in all of this where I really do feel like Post Malone did such a good job. And I am a Guns N' Roses fan. So Slash and Duff being there is enough for me to know we're going the right fucking way. Because the nuance in the vocals is its own thing. But the color that the guitars bring to this song is like, literally, the actual situation that the guitars bring to this is what makes the song. And I think it was such a good combination. I think it worked incredibly well. I called it. Like, I am not usually too gassed up on a I Told You show. That's really usually not my fucking bag. It's usually not. I called it. And I feel great about it because he did such a good job. And it pulls back to something else because I guess Post is in his country era right now. That's been his intention. The album's out. He just got off a tour. That stuff there. Right? But I need some of y'all to really go back to the pandemic when we were all locked up with nothing to do. Okay? And Post did a performance in his house with the bassist from Nirvana, Travis Barker, and I know I'm forgetting 2 other people. And he was doing Nirvana covers, which is very bold to do. It's not saying that it's vocally complicated. It's just very bold to do. And he did so well at it that it proved that, like, shit, okay, that might be the spot for the kid. That might actually be where he needs to be. So I think being able to come out and it looked and felt effortless for him to be able to do it, it was a good ass time. It was a good time. Good job, Post. Good job. I feel like the family felt and looked like they made the right pick. Okay, now, before the Ozzy tribute, it's Reba McEntire. And Reba McEntire is doing the initial in memoriam stuff. And I love Reba down. So excited to see her there. Very excited to see her come and sing. Either you know this or you don't, but you know, she's had the unfortunate experience years ago in the 90s, 91, I think, of her band. And I think her tour manager being unfortunately injured and transitioned from a plane crash. And a couple of days after it, she was supposed to perform at the Oscars. And once this happened, it was still in decision, and then she's decided to do it. So when I saw her doing the in memoriam, that's the first thing that I thought of. The immediate thought that I had was the flashback of watching her, perform at the Oscars after such an immense loss and an incredibly tragic experience. And I feel like she set the right tone because the second it got into the Ozzy stuff, it was loud and it was Ozzy. And I feel like those torches of conversation of who can do these songs or who can keep up doing these songs, something like that, I think that matters. And it's nice to know who can still get the rights, if you will, from his family and from him, the blessing, if you will, to do it. Let's get to the real talk here. There was a D'Angelo Roberta Flack tribute. I'm going to call it a Roberta Flack tribute because it was more percentage-wise in regards to her. But I'm going to tell you what I said before the show, and eventually, if you didn't see the clips earlier, boy, oh boy, will you see the clips of just how I reacted. Now listen, I was like, Bilal has to be there at some point. Bilal has to be there. I mean, he's probably going to do Untitled, but Bilal has to be there. When they said that Lauren was doing the D'Angelo Roberta Flack stuff, I was like, okay, well, nothing really matters. Killing Me Softly is going to happen, right? But what needs to happen is Lauren doing First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Like, I'm gung-ho on, if Lauryn Hill's doing Roberta Flack, please do First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. I can't stress it enough. So I feel really fucking good. Really good. She was on time. She was queuing. Okay. Lauren's closet is Lauren's closet. Okay. Her hair was outstanding. And now that I've got the Lauren talk out of the way, let's get to the meat of this thing. Okay. It was so many band members up there. I don't get it all the way. I can follow if it's Vanguard, Soulquarians, let's do the thing. It just felt like a lot of damn bodies. But Pino Palladino's there. Marcus Miller's there. Still same space. I was so excited for that tribute. And I was so elated at how together it really was, that I kind of didn't think about it today about all the black being worn and all the bodies on stage entirely, because I wasn't even there. By the time they got to the vocal track of D'Angelo, I thought we were doing D'Angelo vocal track through the rest. So everybody did a tremendous job. Lucky Day did such a good job. That's a lot of heavy hitters up there. Anthony Hamilton in the back as background is just a testament to the right intent for people to do what they would have done with him anyway. I think when Lauren at least initially said we've never had a chance to do this song together, I pointed some fingers. Because that ain't his fault. So, that's not his fault. I lost my shit when I saw Bilal. I lost my shit. It's one of those things that it's like, you know that you want him to sing Untitled. Like, that's the whole thing. We all want it, and it's the thing. And he did it, and it was the right way, and I'm happy about it. But I also feel like we slid right on through this D'Angelo thing and got to Roberta Flack. And we should. Roberta Flack is one of the greatest American songwriters to exist. I'm not lost in that. So I like how Lauren became the transition. And again, like I said, First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Yes. Yes. Chaka Khan. Y'all had a great Chaka Khan last night. She was tight. She looked great. Sounded great. Perfect pairing. You could tell that you got a whole stage full of people that know how to harmonize. And it worked. It really was such a nice time. Layla Hathaway, though. Oh, Layla Hathaway. That's how I feel. I'm so excited. This is one of them things where it's like they're gonna do this tribute and they're gonna pick some people that aren't there that should be. And I'm so glad that Layla Hathaway walked out in a hat that was like similar to her dad's. I loved it. I loved it. Oh, her voice is just so rich and it's so good and it really rung out. And to be truthful, by the time we get to Killing Me Softly and we get to that part of it, to me, it's like, I know we gotta do it. Like, let's do it, right? But let's talk about that Richard Smallwood Total praise, amen. At the end, what? What? I need to go back and watch all of who was shown on the screen in the memoriam part for their part of the tribute, because I was deeply distracted, looking all over the place at everybody and everything going on. I was very, very overstimulated in the best way last night. I promise you that. But once they got to the total praise end, I was like, ah, yes. Oh, hell yeah. You're never going to get this combo together to knock this won't happen twice. This, like this, might not happen twice. And I'm not surprised that D'Angelo is the artist that it took. Okay. Had to get that out of the way. I really like the tributes. Oh my gosh, I had such a good time with tributes. Lost my mind last night. Lost my marbles last night. Good job, you guys. Good job. Let's get to some of these categories. Turnstile won 2 Grammys. Listen, I'm a DMV person. All great things for Turnstile. All great things for Turnstile at all times. This album was so good. I was on tour when they did the performance in the park in Baltimore, and I was sick. It was such a good show. Everybody I know that went was just like, you missed one. And I think they did so good with the rollout of this album. I mean, they had a really good year. They were damn near at every music festival. They definitely had some super strong singles, and they really had a very big uptick in visibility in a social media space. And bless them. I need you all to maybe look a little in the Spirit Box if you're into metal, if you're into rock like that. Spirit Boxes, they had a nice show. They had a really nice show at the premiere ceremony, and I think that they did what they were supposed to do. Some of my personal favorites this year were up for nominations. The Deftones, The Cure. We recently lost a member of The Cure. May he rest. But some of my personal favorites in the rock space were nominated this year. And it really was a refreshing thing to see. The relationship of radio and the disappearance of it, or how and what you listen to on satellite radios and things. You know, one of the things I love about the Grammys is the opportunity to really get to know other genres, like I had said, and have an opportunity to kind of see them or hear them in a certain kind of way, or get to know their catalog. And I think dance electronic, jazz, and rock metal alternative always end up sort of, you got to be a fan to know what's happened over there. And I think that sucks. Like, I don't know. I like a lot of metal too. And I can assume that that's some bias, but my narrow window of enjoying music is wide. So, a lot of it, you know, Amyl and the Sniffers is like, Amyl and the Sniffers has been a big proponent of my listenings in the past 2 years. Security is probably one of my favorite ones. Hayley Williams was nominated for Best Rock Performance, and I'm here for it. And Linkin Park had a tour. Linkin Park has a new album out because they have a new singer. So there is this specific sort of resurgence in the rock conversation of artists you know, or artists you know that have come back. And the same thing kind of in the metal space. Dream Theater has a new album out. Sleep Token has a new album out. Ghost. But Turnstile and Spirit Box are newer, you know, and I'm just so happy to see them in the ring. I really am. For Best Rock Song though, you're never gonna beat Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. You're never. Nine Inch Nails is just always gonna be it. And I think it's one of those things that it's like, just accept it. Just accept it. Turnstile winning Best Rock Album makes me really happy. I loved the Deftones' new album. A lot of the younger age loves Youngblood, but Turnstile was really, really that guy this year. Best Alternative Music Performance was kind of clever because The Cure won. The Cure won next to Bon Iver, Wet Leg, Hayley Williams, and Turnstile for best alternative. And the wording of these categories and what they've become has really changed over time. But The Cure won 2 Grammys last night, and that completely brings me joy. They're one of my favorite bands ever, and I want all great things for them. And I think a lot of this year's Grammys too also played into the conversation of being an act that's had some tenure and being able to come back with an album and it still have visibility, still sell. I enjoyed who won, but I enjoyed way more who was nominated. I will admit, I never get too deep into the dance electronic side. A little bit, only because sometimes that stuff gets tricky because of the dynamic of remixes and stuff like that. And that leads to a conversation really quick about something that had gone on between Billboard, the Grammys, and some other things. So there's a big thing that went on between Billboard and the Grammy, like the Recording Academy and Billboard, with a gentleman who was recently fired from his position as one of the voting directors for certain genres. And a song from an artist named Moili, I think is how you say it, a song called Shake It to the Max, was ineligible. The remix of it was ineligible for consideration in the global and African music categories, which are 2 separate ones. And they pretty much said that, in general, remixes are not eligible. Remixes are not eligible. And it immediately disqualified the submission. But it was submitted as a remix, and remixes are not eligible in those categories. I think it's Gefelstein and Gaga won Best Dance Pop Performance for a remix. So maybe this does have particularities to the categories. But they were disqualified really because they called it a remix instead of a part 2. Which is just kind of how they rolled with it. And then they fired the gentleman who was having this fight with the ruling of it all. And he argued that it was technically a new version because it was new verses, a new revised intro, and it had its own ISRC, which would deem it, with its own ISRC, would deem it its own entity and its own song. And it was one of the number one, I think it was on Billboard for like 26 weeks or something at number 1 on Afrobeat, something like that. So there's something in that, in the system of this machine. And people say the Super Bowl's rigged, people say the Grammys are rigged, take it any way that you want, but there are bodies back there. There are bodies who have some stake in keeping the order of voting correct, or making sure that the right songs against the sales, against the right artists are picked. People, I think, don't know just how many artists a year, like films. Like, there's so many films made in a year, but only a certain amount make it to theaters. And the Grammys are the same way. The ballot will end up having over 10 to 15 artists in a certain category at one point in the early stages of it. And by the time that it's mailed and sent to people, they've really gotten to the final 5, the final 6, whatever, that will be televised or will be towards the actual win. Leon Thomas won Best R&B Album. I'm very happy for it. And in truth, I'm kind of happy he didn't win Best New Artist. They say that Best New Artist kind of has a Madden curse to it. I'm not gonna co-sign that, but I will subscribe to it a little bit. I'm very excited for Olivia Dean to have won. I think that she brought a breath of fresh air. And I think that everybody kind of needed something like that. Something a little bright, something a little fun. Somewhere between Olivia Dean and the funny, sexy, witty, clever thing that is Sabrina Carpenter. I think it was needed, and I think people really kind of want it. But I also think that the average American consumer wants it from a Brit. I don't think otherwise. I feel like we have made this conversation into, we want it from the UK, and then we're just going to ignore the American artists who are doing it too. And that is something that I'm 50-50 about a lot of the time. I'm just being honest with you on that. And for that, I'm very excited that Leon Thomas won for Best R&B Album. Jack Antonoff ain't playing on getting these Grammy wins. And Luther by Kendrick and SZA is proof of that. Because Jack Antonoff is a producer for all things Taylor Swift for the most part. And the latest Sabrina Carpenter album, some Lana Del Rey albums, and, you know, has had his incorporations on this GNX album with Kendrick. And, you know, the relationship of the producer isn't always to one genre, and that's the beauty of a producer, is that they should be able to produce in any environment that you put them in. And Jack Antonoff is not playing about getting in all these other different spaces. I'm very excited to see what comes of other producers, though. I'm just not gonna lie. And even if it was somebody that I fucked with all the way, I eventually want something fresh. I do. Bieber's performance was good. Too distracted that he was in his draws. And usually those things kind of don't distract me any. But Kehlani winning for Folded was right. Kehlani winning for Folded was right. I really, really believe that. Love you, Chris. But I think Kehlani really had the radio on lock with Folded. I think there's a lot of people who really enjoyed that one. And to get Best R&B Song, I mean, I just don't think, except maybe overqualified, right? I just feel like it was very evident Folded was a better R&B song. Aggressive R&B album is a category I have a super soft spot for, and I always will, because you've had an opportunity to watch that category, or, you know, alternative rap and just all these other versions they've done over the past 15 years, like exist or grow or turn into something. And the progressive R&B album category, I feel like was spread the right way. Duran Bernard, Bilal, Destin Conrad, Flo, Terrace Martin, and Kenyon Dixon. And Duran Bernard should have won. I like Duran. And I like everything that he's done with his vocal capabilities and just with his skill and with his personality to get here. That win and watching his win was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Not just like the running and the joy of it, but he's one of those ones like Leon Thomas that's got, you know, 20 years skin in the game, and it is being acknowledged. Finally. I am so excited for Duran Bernard. He's such a good vocalist. He's so fucking talented. He's so talented. Duran Bernard and Lola Young's reactions to their wins were just, they were so loving. They were so good. I'm so happy for them. I really, really, really am. Clips won. I'm very excited about it. Do you think GNX should have won Best Rap Album over Clips? I don't think so, in my opinion, but that tour and, you know, the beef will always win. I feel like you can see Kendrick's going to try to figure out a pivot from this. You know, this cycle has cycled, right? And like he said on stage, getting a Luther sample ain't easy. Like, you had to pay, my guy. You had to pay. And I'm for it. It clean sampling. If you're gonna do it, clean sampling. I really wanted Doechii to win. I wanted Doechii to win for Song of the Year because she wrote it. We're gonna get to these bigger categories. Song of the Year is the award given to the songwriter. Record of the Year is the song that's given for the production and the performance of said song. Very different. And Doechii was up for Anxiety for a Song of the Year. But, you know, the music is someone else's. Who's won a Grammy before and all the rest. But if we're talking songwriter stuff, hers was it for me. And I love that hers was just one name. But the Song of the Year is Wildflower from Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish and Phineas have figured it out for themselves. And she's got some great work out here. And Wildflower is that song. I'm glad it won. I am. I'm glad it won. I really thought it was going to be Golden. I thought it was going to be Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters because everybody is talking about the music and all of that with that. Not just like parents with their kids and their kids are into it. A lot of people are talking about, like BTS in those conversations is its own thing, right? But this K-Pop Demon Hunter thing really, really showed and proved between Netflix, the films, film in theaters, and people's reception to it. Period. So it not winning kind of surprised me, but it won a Golden Globe, so I think I'm okay. But what I will say, shout out to Rayami, because one of the beautiful women that is singing on Golden is from Maryland. Again, can't make me happier. Happy all who were nominated and were able to be there and experience it. It's a blessing. Pop solo performance. I know Sabrina thought she had it. I know she did. And her performance at the award show was really good, but I know Sabrina thought she had that in the bag. Lola Young and Messy. Lola Young and Messy is proof that we are in a social media age where what you hear for them 30 seconds online changes everything. But what I hope is that the 30-second superstar doesn't exist and you actually pay attention to the content. Because Lola Young has some really, really good music. And I'm just so excited that she won. And her reaction was just such a, I could get into it over and over again. It doesn't really matter. It's fine. Cat's Eye had a really good go. Cat's Eye had a good performance, but they're also new. This was your first one. We will see you next year. Either, I feel like when it's your first Grammy performance, it either is going to put a fire under you and the next one is insane when you come back and it makes the next set of work. If you're someone that's looking to get a Grammy, you can see the pivot in somebody's seriousness in that and what goes on. You really can. I really think you can see it in certain artists. Ooh, best rap album. Jid had a good go. I wanted it to be Clips. I am fine with it being Kendrick, but I am biased and I wanted it to be Clips. I did. I wanted it to be Clips. I am a Clips fan. There's no business like snow business. And I had the blessing of being able to catch the Christmas show they had done in Virginia Beach before the Grammy. So I've waited like a long time to actually see the Clips, and I finally got to last year. It was like a huge bucket list thing for me, and I do have an affinity. I am biased. Malice is back, and so am I. Okay? I told you that. The first damn trailer, when I came back with the show, the reason I came back is because Clips came out with an album. I just want you to know that. Thank Malice, because my black ass is back because of that. They had such a good year. They had such a good run. Them winning for Chains and Whips, here for it. Here for it. Being nominated for Album of the Year for Let God Sort 'Em Out. It's like you might have known it might not have won. Right? But I'm just so happy it got there. And Pharrell maybe could have done the whole push and campaign and built an album to get there. But I am so happy to see the Clips there. I am that fan. I am that DMV kid. I've got a very select set of people that I have watched 20-something years of their career go up, go down, and all the spaces in between. And I'm so happy how everybody got on board when this album came out. The album came out, it was a tiny desk. They went to New York and did a junket. They went to LA and did it, and just did not stop. And then they ended up at the Vatican. I have feelings and opinions on that. We'll do that on a Patreon another time. But to the Grammys, I am so fucking happy that they won. They might not have won what they wanted to, but I needed them to win. I needed that album to get the visibility it needed. I feel like the rap conversation with the Grammys is getting so interesting because, and I can't stress this enough, Tyler winning a Grammy for Call Me If You Get Lost and it being a Gangsta Grills. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole with you tonight. But Tyler getting a Grammy with drama as a Gangsta Grills is outstanding. Okay? And it sets a tone. It opens a door. It changes the conversation forever. Okay? So Clips being up for Album of the Year, I feel like is an influence vote for Album of the Year. But I do think that if Clips wasn't there, you would have to give it to Jid. And let's talk not giving it for the obvious reason of giving it to Kendrick for the obvious reason. I'm not even trying to play favoritism or acting like Kendrick ain't whatever because he's fucking great. But if you took the heavy hitters out of the way, who? And I think Jid genuinely had an album worth it and worth listening to and worth acknowledging in this rap conversation. But I also subscribe to whatever album wins, everybody on it wins. So let's pull it back really quick. Freddie Gibbs got a Grammy. Wale's got a Grammy because of Leon Thomas, and that that's the shit I like. If you're gonna have 20 people on the album, make it good. Make it good. Okay, so congrats to all of the bodies involved in all of these projects, and congrats to you as well. I'm a roadie, I'm a tour person, I'm an artist as well. But it is nothing without the people of a team and the people that you're on the road with to get you to this point. And damn it, I can't wait to see all the videos of everyone getting the mailed Grammy and the certificates and the medals and all the rest. I'm really, really happy for a lot of people this year. Album cover, I thought was kind of interesting. I'm glad that they've added that. I think that is such a long overdue category. Long overdue. Do you know how many album covers that are outrageously worth it that just miss the relationship of being nominated because that art cover, that the album cover was nice? Spoken word and poetry. Congrats to Matt Skills, Virginia's own. Congrats. Now, on the spoken poetry, spoken word part of this thing, Saul Williams is my guy. I really like his new project. I'm trying to catch it somewhere quick. I'm having a struggle with that. But I am very happy it went to Matt Skills because usually it goes to Saul Williams. So, you know, and Amari Hardwick and Anthony Hamilton were in the category for Best Spoken Word Poetry Album too, and Queen Sheba. So there's there's just some categories that I just want to have more visibility. Samara Joy won Best Jazz Vocal. Yes. I just think some of these picks were right this year. I really think that some of these picks were really, really on top. And Album of the Year shouldn't surprise anybody. How many people do you know? Oh, this is a good question to pose. How many people do you know that get the halftime show and win the Grammy that year for Album of the Year? Because I don't think Rihanna has. I don't think Shania did the halftime show after her win. Maybe she did. Maybe Shania. Certainly Beyonce for sure, right? Certainly Coldplay or a Bruno Mars, which never forget that halftime show had Coldplay there, though you don't remember it, and it's okay. But Bad Bunny is the best pick. Best best pick. I don't know one lick of Spanish. I have enjoyed that album entirely. And I'm a ethnomusicology nerd, and I am a partial purist, is the way I guess I'll put it. And I love everything that he did with funneling the album, the tour, and all of it back to Puerto Rico. No one does this enough, the way that he did it. Olivia Dean changed your conversation around ticket pricing with Ticketmaster to her show, right? Which is proof that you have a choice in what these ticket sales are. But Bad Bunny did something very, very important. He removed the relationship of the ticket sale from the outside world as the immediate consumer and for resale. He made it to where you had to be in Puerto Rico physically to purchase tickets. And the citizens of Puerto Rico got dibs first. There's no tickets being sold to anyone outside of Puerto Rico until it is given an availability and full opportunity at this pricing to the citizens of Puerto Rico. And that is incredible, especially when you watch someone be very evident about the erasure of their culture, of their community. Puerto Rico has had so much happen between the hurricanes and the tourism over the years. It's the commercials even that he had done for the album. This is, long before the halftime show. Just having these different relationships of clips of watching people who are locals get into the erasure, the relationship that their sonics, their artists, their availability to not be appropriated has been taken advantage of. And I feel like when you can watch somebody get the gold and do right by having that access and opportunity, it's a fortune. And I'm very excited that Bad Bunny is the artist to crack that nut, quite honestly. Because going up there and speaking in Spanish, halftime show at the Super Bowl is most certainly going to be in Spanish, is poignant in these times. Fuck guys. It's important to have that awareness. If you never watch the Latin Grammys, you are just doing yourself a disservice. The Latin Grammys is a time, okay? It's a fucking time. And it shouldn't come off and feel like a crossover to be at the Grammys, right? Like the bigger Grammy Awards. But Bad Bunny has such an incredible year with the sales of this album, with the way the tour was done, and almost the residency of it. There's this residency relationship that's coming, it feels like, in 26, 27 with people. I don't know if it's to cut costs or just being effective or whatever, but in his case, the deep inclusivity and exclusivity of you got to come to Puerto Rico to see this is just worth it. It just was worth it. And watching that last show of it was really touching. And I'm a Mark Anthony girl. I'm a Mark Anthony girl down. Okay? My mom is a more like Luis Miguel kind of fella, but Mark Anthony's that guy. And to have the greatest percussionists, the best Puerto Rican artists on stage to give back and to be a part and be present in a newer generation of artists caring this much is great to see. I'm so excited that he won. The Super Bowl can't come quick enough. I'm about to dance my ass off. I told you, I didn't have enough time to get Duolingo locked in on the promo code to learn enough Spanish. I've been using language transfer. I can get a little bit somewhere. I'm not going to be able to rock together. And I don't need you to put a subtitle on that screen. Don't you put a subtitle on that screen. We don't need it. Don't you put a subtitle on that screen, Poppy. Don't do it. Don't do it. We don't need it. It's fine. Just do the hits. Just do the jams. Just do it. It's going to be so fun. You think he's going to fly? Or do you think he's going to gonna march band around. I don't know. It's gonna be so much shoulders. Oh, I can't wait. Grammys. You were a trip last night. You were black as hell. Shabuzi won. It's such a good time last night. Oh, I had to talk about it. I've taken a lot of your time. I'm sorry. I feel like I was talking in circles, and I know that I wasn't, but I'm done. I'm done. Okay? Like, share, subscribe to the Ashley Alexander Show. We are bringing this whole thing back. I just kind of have to start taping. And I just have to get at it. This might not be the background all the time because I'll be on tour somewhere, so it'll be somewhere else in the cosmos. But while I'm home, I'm very excited to be figuring this out. Thank you for grinning and bearing with me. I have new interviews lined up. New reviews to do. Like new reviews for you. But I've got interviews coming that you are going to love. It's good to be back. It's a good time to be back. Stay up, stay bright, and stay weird. But make sure to wash your hands for 30 seconds, baby. COVID's not over. And contact your local congressman. Do what you can to help your neighbor, save a life, help a child, and clean water for all. Take care.